My message this morning revolves around the vicissitudes of life. We cannot change certain things that happen to us. These are things you've heard me talk about a lot. You've heard me talk about it in first level training, maybe even second level if you've been there. And for some of you that have been to TLM, you've experienced it. For some of you that have went on to fourth, you've experienced it much deeper. But this morning I'm going to touch on a certain subject that really just kind of stands out to me today, and I think it's very important for us to meditate on and continue gaining clarity and understanding around this particular subject. This subject that I'm wanting to unpack says that, well, things happen to us in life. We cannot control that things happen to us. So suffering or pain is inevitable. There will be pain in every person's life. Suffering, however, is optional. And let me repeat that. Pain is inevitable. Suffering is optional. We have the option to suffer or we don't have to. That's totally be our choice. But pain is inevitable. Things will happen that we will experience pain. We might slip and fall on ice or, there's so many different things. Stub your toe. There's got 11 different things that can happen that we can experience pain. But mental suffering is optional. I know. There's psychologists out there that will argue with me, and I'm not here to argue with them. They won't argue with me because I won't argue with them back. But I will make my point that suffering is optional, especially when it comes to mentally speaking. Now, if you're not taught that it is, you can suffer when something gets said that feels devastating. You will suffer. I will suffer. When somebody tells me I'm no good, somebody tells me I don't have what it takes, somebody tells me something negative without backing it up and giving me the clear side of it, I might choose to suffer. I know there's been times where I've told people that in the current state of their level of growth, they're not actually yet ready to maybe take a certain step that they wanted to boldly jump into. I challenged them on it. They haven't developed themselves yet for that. I wasn't telling them they're not good. I was simply telling them they get to develop themselves further. And I might have even pointed out gifts that they had. I often try to do that. I don't do it because I feel I need to. I do it because I love watching people and noticing their gifts and pointing it out. But I also get to be careful. I realize that some people will take that as a very painful statement when they hear that they're not yet developed enough for a certain level. Who are you to tell me that? Well, I don't know. I guess I'm nobody to tell you that. You have the right to go and do what you want to do. But what I will tell you is in some cases you'll fall flat on your face and you'll wish that somebody would have been kind enough to tell you and give you that little nudge and say, hey, this may not be the direction you want to go at this point in time. It could hurt you. However, with that being said, once you realize that suffering is optional and you can start figuring out that you can be the sky, not the storm, because the sky is not fazed by the storm. It might be that the storm might hide the sky from us for a moment while the storm is raging over us, but the sky doesn't change at all. It stays the same color. The storm hides it from us for a while. But if we can become the sky and not the storm will come and it'll pass. The sky will stay the same. That's my challenge for all of us here, is that we become more like the sky. We carry that beauty that everybody loves to look at. Isn't it amazing in a day when the sun is shining and you're looking up and the sky is just this beautiful blue, or maybe you're up on the top of a mountain like 13, 15, 18,000 feet up, and the sky looks really, really dark blue when you're up there, just beautiful, just amazing to look at, right? That is you with your development. As you develop yourself to the extent of being the sky and not the storm, your inward beauty shines so bright that some people can't get enough of being around you, and others are scurrying off to get a set of sunglasses because you're too bright for them. And we must allow both to do what they desire to do. I will not dull my light for the person that feels he needs a set of sunglasses, simply because there's others that can get benefit from the light. And it's taken me a lifetime to develop myself to this point. Why would I dull it for one moment? That's my challenge for you as well. You see, as your light gets brighter and brighter, you will still have pain, and sometimes you'll choose into suffering. I still do at times. It's optional, though, but there's times where I choose into it, have a small pity party, me, myself, and I. Nobody brings any food to it or any drinks, but, the party normally doesn't last too long, but it's kind of devastating while it is there. But for the most part, I bypass the pity parties because things happen. I know they will. I know that amazing things are going to happen to me the rest of today and over the next 48 months. I know great things will happen to me. I know there's going to be a little burrs along the way as well. There's going to be times where I will feel like, the deck is stacked against me, but I've come to understand that's only a season, and that season will pass. And as the season passes, the skies turn blue again. That storm will pass. If we can view challenges as seasons in life and be aware that that's all they are, is seasons, we are not fazed by the challenges. But if we view those challenges as a permanent state of any situation, life is barely worth living. It becomes dark, dismal. It becomes dull, nothing to look forward to. It becomes devastating when we find ourselves looking at each situation, whether it's good or bad, as a permanent state. When something amazing happens for me and I think, oh, this is permanent, then I'm not prepared for the next storm that's going to come along and for the pain that I'm going to experience. And as soon as that pain comes along, I am probably, especially if it's mental pain, I'm probably going to choose into suffering. So keeping balance in a sense of understanding that pain is inevitable, suffering is optional, and the more we choose into not suffering, the more value we can bring to every minute of the day, the more value we have to the people that's surrounding us, to the person we're talking to next, to our workforce, to the co-workers, to the leaders, to the employees, whatever it is, to our teams and all of that. You see, once you develop the stamina to do that, more things will happen. Good things will come your way than you can imagine. More good things will happen than I can possibly try to express on this call. But I'll tell you, that sounds good, interesting, and we know it to be true. But it takes time to develop that type of resilience. You see, oftentimes we go into resistance when pain happens. We resist the pain, and therefore we suffer. What we resist persists. It continues, persisting. The more we resist it, the more it persists. For those of you that have been in our first level training have seen me periodically, not every first level will I do that, but sometimes I'll do the resistance expression of a physical expression of what happens to us mentally when we resist. And so, guys, I'm going to conclude this call on this amazing Friday morning or Friday evening for those of you that are listening in from different places with just reminding us that we have choices, we have the dignity of choice, and we get to exercise that, and as we do, we get to reap the benefits from it. I want to thank you guys for being amazing leaders, coaches, team members, teachers, scholars, whatever you guys are out there, pastors. It has been an absolute privilege to be in your presence, to work with you guys. Looking forward to many more years of serving. And with that, I want to thank Coach for hosting the call this morning. And guys, I'll see you all out in the field. Have a great day today, and do me a favor. Don't ever settle for less than who you are. May God bless you.